Okay, I'm going to click it on. It's cycling pretty slow. Not live yet, right?
What's that?
I said it's not live yet. It's still cycling.
What roll?
Maybe it's too busy, the internet. Hi, you guys. Can you see me? I can't see anything. It doesn't even look like it's going. Do you see anything?
I'm trying to get in.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Charlene. We're having trouble playing this video, so I may not be able to see it, but that's okay, because I... Is it on there?
I can't get out of where I'm at.
So I'll wait for just a second, because it's not showing. It says they're having trouble. That's technology for you. Anything there? Hi, Emily. Let me know if you guys can see me, because I can't see a thing. Usually I can see the video showing.
This is the free one, right?
Uh-huh. Hold on, we'll just see if I may have to restart it.
I see it.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yay. So we're there. So, hey, you guys, happy Saturday, happy Memorial Weekend, even though we didn't know it was because everything's so crazy. So, hey, welcome to the part 2 of the Crawdad. Yippee, 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 yippee. Before we get started, I really want to talk to you guys about, I want to kind of introduce myself again for some of you who don't know me. I am a grandmother. I'm 58 years old, and I've been, my journey started when I wanted to paint my grandkids more than anything. I put it off. Always wanted to be doing art, but put it off because, you know, that's what we do. So I just want to encourage you guys not to put it off if you're younger than I am, and if you're interested in doing it. Hi, everybody. Hi, Lori. Hi, Karen. Hi, Lisa. Hi, brother. My brother's watching. Anyway, I just really want to encourage you guys to pursue your art if you can.
Even if you are older than me.
Even if you're older than I am. It's like it's never too late to get out there and have some fun with your art. So, with that in mind, I wanted to... It's okay, just leave it. With that in mind, I wanted to share with you guys, I want to acknowledge some artists who have helped me. So, I'm just going to go through some paintings that I have, and in no particular order. Carol Carter, I took her class, and this is what we did in it. She's awesome. I love her a lot. So if you have an opportunity to take her, do it. This is one I did in Bev Joswick's class. I don't know what they're doing, if they're doing online courses or not in this time. I did it in a person-to-person course, you know, face-to-face, which ends up costing a lot more, of course, because now you have to pay for lodging because it's never in your town. You might have to pay for a flight. And of course, you have to pay for food. This one was done in a course online with a friend of mine, Danya. She does a lot of fun things like that. Hers was not this blue. I changed it up. And I can give you these names later if you guys want them. These two were done after I took a course from Jean Haynes. She talks about painting half of something, and that was what I did. This is my dog, and this is my cat. This is Rogue. A lot of you guys have painted Rogue. So that was another view of Rogue. I just really want to encourage you guys to invest in yourself. This one was done with Lori Goldstein Warren, and that was just done recently. That's my father-in-law, Tom's dad. He passed away, and I keep him behind there because I really love this. I think it's fun to see him watching me teach. This one was just done, these are mostly portraits. I mostly do portraits and animals, and that's why I'm going to teach a portrait class. This is my grandson and my son. The lighting is kind of odd here at this time of day. That's why I don't usually do it this late. But anyway, I love that one. This is one I did. Also, it's a big one. This is my granddaughter. It's not really done. Pretty realistic down here, not so realistic up in here. I made up the galaxy and the whole thing.
Yoda.
Oh, and Yoda is pretty realistic. You can see that. I try not to do too much realism, but sometimes I do. This is an artist, local artist that helped me. Well, this is Uncle Jim, Tom's uncle, just like his dad. He's the Uncle Jim that we do the Uncle Jim dance to. I'll show you that today for those of you who haven't seen it. This was done with doing squares and practice painting blacks. This is with Alan Sanborn, a local artist that teaches a lot of realism, a lot of glazing. This was done after I saw what David Lobenberg does. I did this before I took his class. I just saw it and thought I'll give it a shot. And then this was done after I took his course. That was in person. It's so bright. I'm just so sorry. But, and this is something I'll probably be teaching in the course I'm teaching on portraits, colorful portraits. I love them. This was done with Mita Danny. This was a fun project, and I changed it up to make it look not so realistic. Okay, but what I want to really talk to you about is these two portraits here. I took a class with Mary White, and I loved her style. She does a lot of realism, a lot of quilts, and I really wanted to do that. I wasn't really successful in that class, and if I wouldn't have been brave and continued on, I would have stopped right then because it wasn't a successful experience for me. It wasn't her fault. But mainly I wanted to let you guys know that you need to invest in yourself, pay an artist to help you, do the free stuff if you can, but you're not going to get as much out of paying with someone because you're going to get more of a relationship. They're going to help you a lot more, okay? So if you want to paint, I'm just letting you know that. If you want to do a portrait class with me, I would love to have you do it. If you want to find some of those other artists that I told you about, just message me. I think I put most of their names in the title. I have other ones that are in the class with me. Okay, that's done. I wanted to just encourage you guys to do that, invest in yourself. And the cool thing is you guys have a rare opportunity to do online courses with, so you pay a lot less. I don't know if that makes sense because you're not going out of town. You're staying in your home. You can do it in your pajamas. So that's really what I wanted to tell you. In your birthday suit. I'm going to sing you guys your song. Let me go back. What I wanted to tell you is that I tried to take what I enjoyed the most out of each course, each instructor, the things that really got me excited. But none of them sang. So here we go. Do you want to paint a crawdad? Come on, let's flash and play. It's watercolor I adore. Let's paint some more and never go away. We are painting buddies, laughing a lot. It's my favorite time of day. Do you want to paint a crawdad? Yippee! Let's paint a crawdad. Do you want to paint a crawdad? Then hang our paintings on the walls. I think it's time for me and you to find our favorite blue. Yes, watercolor calls. I never get lonely, even when I'm alone. Because, let's face it, it's fun to paint a crawdad. Come on, let's paint a crawdad. And that's what we're going to do right now. Okay. I know, my face gets redder every time I sing because I know that I sound terrible. But I don't care. I just want to do that to make you guys feel happy and have fun. And that's my main thing when I teach. I want people to have fun and really, really, really feel empowered to do it and not afraid. Because I was afraid that first class I took. I was terrified. I felt like I was a cat in a room full of dogs. Okay, and I also felt like there was a lot of kind of hoity-toity people, and that did not work with me. Here we are. Here's our reference photo that Rhonda has changed up for us to make it look so cool. Photoshop is a wonderful thing. So I know I bent this up. I'm so excited to do this. All right. Okay, so here we are. You're going to be listening to me think again because I do not have this done already. Like I told you a lot of times, usually I have a painting done and I kind of follow it because I know it was successful. So this is actually a real brave thing for me to do. So if you're wanting to feel brave, know that this is also something that makes me feel like I have to be brave. All right, so you can see the palettes up there that I have, they're individual, and we stopped here last time. I want to make this more green. See how it's not nearly as green? Look across the screen on the bottom there, see where it says see shapes and resist naming them? This is kind of easy to do because it does have a few shapes that aren't, you can't say, hey, this is his finger, because I don't even know what that's called, right? You can just say that little weird shape there. So this is pretty good for us. But if you were to paint a person with a finger, don't look at it as a finger. Look at it as a shape, a shadow, a shape, a, you know, just what it is, not what you know it to be. So I'm going to go right now, I'm going to go into my cobalt teal because I want to come up into here. And it looks pretty close to cobalt teal. If you use a color on your color wheel next to the one you used, just like right beside it or near it in the same family, you're going to get a more vibrant paint, a more vibrant color that shows on your painting. So I'm kind of going around. Should I get closer? I can go in a little bit. My husband's right here to tell me if I get out of the frame. He's going to watch. He also likes to tell jokes, which is fun too. So see, I'm kind of leaving some white areas. If you look on your photo reference, see the little bit of white, little dotty things? If anybody knows what they're called, please comment. Okay, so I said if I use a color next to or nearby in the same family on the color wheel, so obviously green and blue are next to each other, it'll pump that color up. It'll make it more vibrant. So I'm doing that right now. I'm going into phthalo green, and I'm just going to drop some color in. The other thing about this particular project that I'm working with you on is I have to think harder. It's okay, first of all, I'm painting, and I guess there's the thing that you call the right brain, the left brain, right? It's hard to make them all work. One is more creative, one is more analytical, and right now I'm trying to do both and think ahead. I'm just telling you, it's really taxing me. It hurts me. Okay, I want to go back up into here. Remember we did this sort of dull looking color, and I think, if I remember right, we kind of mixed in some burnt sienna. It's just got to be dull, along with some Indian yellow, and it gets sort of to that green color. Do you see it right there? Okay, so I don't have water here. I'm just going to, you know what, I want water. I'm going to switch a brush. I want that to move around. See, this is where the thinking comes in at the same time. I'm like, wait a minute. If I didn't have you guys working with me, I would have thought without saying it out loud. So I just went to a smaller brush, got some water. So anyway, I encourage you guys, check out some of those artists that I told you about. They're all really great. I'm going to actually list them by name too, because I have a few that I haven't actually done courses with. But the ones that I did, I wanted to put out there. But I know they're wonderful artists. I just haven't been able to get to them and work with them. So again, we're going from this really bluish green to a yellowish green. And we want it to be kind of blotchy. See how that's blotchy? And that'll make the light look like it's showing through.
You might want to move the crawdad up a little bit.
Okay. You guys see that okay? Please comment. Tom is there to see if you make a comment live. If you make a comment when it's not live, I'm not going to be able to answer you. You'd have to message me. And a lot of people do, so I'll answer your messages. Oh, another thing I want to tell you. If you want to take my course, you're going to get brave and do some portraits. It does take some bravery. There's no doubt about that. But it's about shapes. Even on a portrait, you guys, even a portrait is shapes. Its value, it's shapes. That's all it is. You have to get it out of your head as a person, because that'll freeze you up. That one that I showed you, this one here, this one that I did, I painted that one years ago. That was me. That's me. It doesn't really look like me that much, I don't think, but that's me with my 2 grandkids, and I called that Wrapped in Love. And I'm still dropping in green, you guys, as I'm talking. Look it up here. We want to keep this white. See, we have that white glow, keeping that white. So look it right up here. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to keep dropping in some paint color right along here and following that. But okay, that portrait there, I painted the whole thing except for those 3 faces, and I kid you not, those things stayed with me for years. They would look like ghosts mocking me because I was terrified. It's okay now. I was terrified to do the faces. I did the rest, but I couldn't get to the faces. So what I promised myself is if I decided to ever teach a course, I would make you guys do the faces, the eyes first, because I wouldn't want you to have that happen to you. So that's what I'm going to do if anybody wants to come along with me. We're doing the eyes first. We're getting that done. Okay.
Wendy White says, love your work. Hi
Oh.
from Somerset, UK.
The UK? How is everything there? Okay.
So Lavon is using her left side and right side of her brain at the same time. I'm using neither. That was me that said that.
Oh, wait, okay, wait, you guys. So I'm going to go into Indian yellow right here. Do you see that gold color? Wait, you know what? I'm going to do quinacridone. There you go. You're listening to me think. Quinacridone is pretty much a bossy color. So there it goes, bossing around. And up here, I like it too. Again, color doesn't do the work. The value is going to do the work. So we're going to have to worry about the values here eventually. Okay, so right here, this went away. I did have more blue here. This looks like a pretty phthalo cobalt. Let's mix those together. Oh, I don't think I have cobalt. Do I have cobalt? Yeah, I think I do. There it is. So there's my phthalo. There's my cobalt. Cobalt is less translucent. Phthalo is more translucent. So we'll see if we can get those 2 to work. Now, it's a little bit dotty. So I'm just going to go straight in, no water. I'm going to try to get as much done as I can today. I may not get it finished, but I'm hoping to get enough done that you guys can finish it on your own. I'm hoping to show you enough of how we're going to do it. Okay, so I put that first part in, and I'm going to let that sit. I want to do straight phthalo now because that's a pretty blue. This is way too thick, as you can see. So let's go with a little more watery phthalo. Get some moisture out, though. And I'll go to the top, and it's going to kind of mix in with our green that we put up there. I see also some browns that we're going to need to put in there. So there, that's prettier. See how that's a lighter blue? So let's go in there and do a few little dots, watery. If you want something to look translucent in your watercolors, use water. I mean, that's the biggest magical thing about watercolor is the water. It's what makes everything different than every other medium, that water. Okay, let me look at that on the screen. Ooh, doesn't that look good? That looks so good. Yeah, I mean, and you can say that about your stuff. If you like how it's looking, tell yourself that. I mean, like I do. I like it. I was in one course. I'm going into burnt sienna. I was in one course, and it was with Carol Carter. And someone said, "Ooh, that looks so beautiful." And she's like, "Yes, doesn't it?" And I loved it. I was so happy. It's okay, leave it.
It's raining cardboard.
I was so happy to hear her say that because it just meant that she loved what she did. So, I mean, why not? Why not say, yes, isn't it beautiful? I think that's what her exact words were. Isn't it beautiful?
We might get a surprise visit from our granddaughter and her friend Jenny.
Ooh. Yeah, and I've told, speaking of surprise visits, my husband said I'm in burnt sienna again. My husband said we might get a visit from my granddaughter and her friend. I've opened up my home to people from all over the world because I've met so many people. Here's the other thing, you guys. I'm meeting people from all over the world doing this. I really never expected I was going to teach watercolor and online and meet people in UK and Denmark and Greece. I'm just like, what? Anyway, so if you guys do that, if you decide to do a course with somebody, you're going to make the friends too. I'm going to go into that indanthrene blue right here. I see this.
Do a live workshop at our house someday.
I might even do a live workshop at my house someday. Okay, and then I went into burnt sienna. I just mixed them. Here, if you were with me in the first one, I mixed them. I let them mix on the paper, and this time I'm just going to mix them myself. I'm just going up in here. Oh, wait, I wanted to go right here. Sorry. So there's teeny, teeny, tiny little dots that I'm going to work around. Uh-oh, I have to think for a minute because I'm in a teeny tiny spot. It gets a little bit more rosy there, so I'm going to go into some yellow, or I'm going to go into some of the translucent orange. And I'm going to do it right here. Whoops. The cool thing about this Chinese brush is that, I want a little more red there. So how about this Quin Rose, I think it's called. Let's just do a little bit there. I'm just trying to kind of match these colors that Rhonda got for us. Okay. It gets darker on the other side of our... I wanted to do this because I feel like that was going to be the hardest thing for you guys all to do. But I could be wrong. It might not be the hardest. So a neutral color, any kind of neutral gray you have on your palette, anything kind of dirty, I'm going to go back here and just sort of paint that shape in that looks sort of like a part of a U, but not entirely a U. And it's lighter than that. And then there's these little tiny little dots. Now, normally I probably wouldn't do this detail stuff first, but it doesn't really matter which way you go as long as it works. Right? Yeah, look at that. Woohoo! Okay. Feeling happy. Feeling happy. That's what I'm saying. So, this is what you should do when you're feeling happy. This is called the Uncle Jim dance. That you saw the picture of him. So when you're feeling happy and you're painting, take a break and go, woohoo, okay? So there you go. I was feeling happy about that. I love this. I'm in love with this. So we're going to leave that alone. It's okay if those have, well, you know what? It's not okay. I was going to say it's okay if they have hard edges, but I see where it's kind of not. This one is forming, so I'm going to kind of get that right now while it's still a little bit wet. I don't want to lose my white, though. I can always come back, so I think I'll wait. We have that white. I'm going to go back into my indanthrene blue. Come along here. Because we have that hard line there, and we can get that value that we're looking for. I see a little tiny line between them, so I'm going to miss it. And it's a gold looking line. I'll show you right there, that teeny tiny line. It's gold looking, but I'm not going to do gold yet. If I do gold now, it's going to just mix and I'll lose that hard line. So I can come back with that later. I'm going to keep on going down, but I'm going to make it a little bit varied here. Okay, wait. While I'm at it, I see this. It needs to be darker. Looking at values. And a few of those go up into here, a few of those little dots. Darker down here. I'm going to do my burnt sienna. So these are the colors you're going to use on the whole thing. When you go into the darks, use that indanthrene blue or another blue, and then follow it with burnt sienna, or vice versa, either one. When you put the burnt sienna on top, it's going to be a little warmer because that's the last color. When you put that blue on top, it's going to be a little cooler because blue is cooler than the burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is just sort of an orange. darker orange. Okay, we're still going. From here, I'm going to move into this part. Oh gosh, it's already 3:24. Let's go straight into that dark blue. Pick your dark blue and just try to paint sort of that weird shape. Let's just kind of, because we're going to make it super dark. That has hard edges, even though it's a little bit, it looks like it's random looking. I don't know. I don't even know. You know what? I don't even know if I've ever really seen a crawdad. I know people eat them. I mean, to me, it looks kind of like a lobster-looking thing. But so I don't know what this is what I'm getting at. I don't know what this dark spot is. I don't know. I have no clue what to call that. Blotchy, dark area. What?
Where's the darky blotch area?
Yeah. It must. I don't know.
It's part of the shell.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what to call it. Just the, okay. So I started with the blue. And I want to make it even darker. You put the opposite on the color wheel in there, and that makes it as dark as it can be. It's really just all three colors, but it's sort of a convenient way to do it. That's pretty thick, so I need to get my paint on my brush thicker if I can, if I want to drop it in. And it might not work. So maybe a little bit more water. Okay, so that's what you're going to do all these darker areas. I have that paint on my brush so I see where I can go up in here too. So take advantage of what you have on your brush. Back in here, it's not quite that dark. Do you see that? It changes. This is sort of surrounded by this gold. This is sort of surrounded by the red. So let me just sort of see if this will work, though. There's some lines that are coming through there. So yeah, this should work because it is actually a little bit lighter still. It's still got that. It's mixed a little bit with that blue, but it still has the burnt sienna. This time I'll put the blue on top. So I'm just kind of following along the shape that I think I see as best I can. Let's put some blue on top of that. Because you don't want that color to look just like this solid color. If you put some other color on it, it makes a variety of, it doesn't exactly go everywhere. So there'll still be some brown showing through. On this one, there'll still be some blue. Now this looks like it has softer edges, so I'm going to go right in with some, I think, I'm going to go in with some of my quinacridone gold. Get it about maybe, creamy, milky. And let's see what happens. This is going to be a little experiment. I'm going to touch that. Because we want that to be a little more golden. Leave some spaces because you can see little white areas. That's going to make your texture. It'll look like there's texture there if you can do that. So the lighter part that's here will show through. The part that we painted earlier, now that it's all dry, it should show through. And I'm just looking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, looking at that reference photo diligently. Okay, so we're down in here. Do you see this bluish green coming up? Can you see it right there? You guys should have your reference photo, so look at it closely, but I'm pointing it out. It has a bluish green there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. It actually looks yellowish green. So I'll go with my sap green. Put it right on down. And I'm going to add some quinacridone yellow to that. All these cool colors. being careful to keep that little line, because that's our segment. That changes our segment. And it looks like it comes up more through here. I'm going to let that sit. We still have the yellow here. It's darker in spots down there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that with you guys. Started with the blue, comes into here. And these aren't any particular shape, so you shouldn't have to be too worried. Just get close to it. Go, okay, it's got an irregular edge, kind of goes here, kind of goes there. It's darker right in here, so I'm going to go ahead and go along. What we can do to get this is maybe use a toothbrush, kind of spray the toothbrush splatter. And I want to get this a little bit redder right here, so I'm going to do that. Some CAD. And I feel like I want to put some quinacridone in there. And I'm going to make the same kind of movement with the brush, little dotty things. Right into the blue. And it kind of comes up into this one. And I can even make that redder. I can see that right there. See how it's turning kind of an orangey color? And so spread your brush out, maybe like that. And you can get some more little shapes, little dots that aren't connected. This might not be the best brush for that, but it should work if I just don't touch it too much. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep going with it. Instead of the toothbrush, I'm going to do it this way. Turn it a bunch of different directions. And we'll go up here too, because there's dots all the way up in there. See what we think about that. Probably too far away for you to see it very well, but you can do it that way. I picked up some of the blue out of there, but that's okay because some of those dots look that way. Okay, I want that to be a little redder down there at the bottom. So I'm back into Quin Red. It's a Quin Red medium. I think I want to get some of the quinacridone. That was CAD red, sorry. I'm going to get some quinacridone there and make it redder still. Again, remember I said if you use the same family color and you put them together, they're going to bump up that color. So if I go with orange, watch this. I'm going to put some orange there too. That translucent orange, it'll do the same thing. Get some more of that really dynamic color. And then I just put water there to kind of let it merge out a bit. I'm going to do that again too. My brush. And I feel like that is a lot golder in that area, so I'm going to do quinacridone gold. Whoops. Pretty translucent, pretty watery. Let's get some more vibrancy there. I'm going to go up into these edges here and just maybe make them move a little bit. Same here, we don't really want that. We don't want that hard edge. Let's go right next to that blue. Have it kind of dance a little bit with the others. It's been drying long enough that it shouldn't hurt it. If we did it too early, it's going to just drift all over the place. Right now, it should just kind of merge a little bit. Which is what we want. Ha! That looks good. These little dots I don't really like because they're a little hard edge, so let's get them. Let's get them. We want to make this redder closer to here, so let's get some more of this cad red. Whoopsie. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think about that portrait that I did that it sat there and stared at me. I'm not kidding you. For years, that thing. Huh, Tom?
It did.
It was horrible. I'm like, I wish I could finish that. I wish I could finish that. I just never got brave enough. And that's why there's two. I'm like, okay, I don't want to ruin the first one. I'm going to try to paint a second one. And that's why it's smaller. And then, anyway, neither of them turned out like I hoped, but it's okay. What I want to do right now with you guys is get my little scrubby brush. Do you see this edge right here? I want to get rid of that. So this is a small little brush that is synthetic and is actually one that Susan Harrison Testain recommends. So like I said, I don't know if she does anything online. I've never taken a class from her, but I really think she does really, really amazing work. Hers is more realistic, but I still like it. I like all kinds of art. You know, I don't care. The things that I like to do are animals and people. I'm not really attracted. I'm gonna get to some neutral paint right here to get on the back side of this so it rounds it out. I have to move it this way a little bit so you can see. Landscapes and still life, you know, they don't really motivate me, but I like them, but they don't motivate me to paint. Doesn't make it right or wrong. It just means that's what, you know, you like. There's a lot of black dots in here that are going to come back later. I can't do it right now because they'll smear too much into it. But I'm just trying to get that basic value back there. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, shall we go down into the bottom section of this thing? I'm going to fold it this way now. Ta-da! Let's go down in here, section by section. So what we're going to do first is look at our section. We're going to wet. Let's skip this one for now. I'm going to go right to this one. That's why it's good to paint in sections. You can divide up your painting in smaller bites. If you start a big painting, sometimes it's like terrifying and you think I'll never get to it. And so if you just look at the smaller parts, don't look at the painting as a whole. Like there's that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So that's the same thing for a painting. One bite at a time. Don't look at this whole thing. Just go, wait, okay, I'm going to paint this area. Oops, I dropped some here. I'm going to paint this little area. I'm going to paint that little area. So these are already sectioned off for us. Let's start with the gold, and we'll just quinacridone gold. I'm going to go ahead and just get in there. I've already got it wet. Let's just get that under color in there. It's yellow along the top edge. See how the water just moves it? It's so cool. Now, the first time that I knew you could do, or that it's okay to use a template, was with Carol Carter. Always before, I spent so much time drawing, sketching, and all that. And that's really, really good. And you are welcome for me not singing, Lori says. Well, Lori, I think you should sing too. Susanna, I'm going to type your name in there. I am. I have to go look at all the list, so I have a lot more to add to our list. So I'm going to do this one. Whoops, I forgot to put water down, but you know what? Here, we'll show you the difference. It can still be done. Look at, same thing. These are all the same color. So I really want to tell you guys all about the gals in my group. I don't think there are any men. And because I think that art is, I got to move this over. Art is such a special thing to be able to learn, and it's such a great escape, especially now. I mean, I just don't know what I would have done without having this, really. My life would have been so boring. I sit there and think about people who are at home, and I'm like, what are they doing? I mean, besides eating. Oh, no, 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 no. I have been, no, stop. Oh. Okay, so a little break. Come here, girls, I'll have to introduce you. Just a quick little break. This is this is my granddaughter. This is her friend. This is Jordan. That's Jenny. Okay, because you guys came in, so you have to say hi. Work what I'm painting, you guys. A crawdad. Do you know what a crawdad is?
A crab?
It's like
It's like a craw poppy.
yeah. Okay, so push this down. We're gonna try to keep this going. This is a little orangey, more than this, so let me put some, let's do that right now. Let's put some of our translucent orange right on top of it and let it mix around. It's mostly here in the center where all the dark parts are. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Put it in there, here and there. Along that, see how it's right in this area, and then it gets dark down here, but the lightest edge is right along the top, right up there, right along the top. So that's what we're looking for. Down here, it's pretty dark everywhere, so let's just go ahead and put some darks in there. Yellow, the lighter part is gonna show through. Remember, it's in the same color family, so it's gonna get nice and vibrant. Okay, we'll let that sit around. Shall we just go ahead and try to do, let's do it, the quinacridone gold next to the other sections. Can you stay away from it? It's probably not that big of a deal because there are areas, we can see where there are areas where they touch and it's dark anyway. But this just gives you a way to bite off what you can chew, so to speak. You're just looking at shapes, having a good old time looking at shapes. Now I see these are a little more yellow or white up in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and skip around that. I think I'll do that one. I'll see if I can get this back. And up here too. I'm going to get some more of my paint, a little thicker paint of the quinacridone gold, and put it at the base here. It'll drift up. And now that I've done that, I've got to pay attention to see where everything's going. It makes you have to look a little harder for things when you paint more at once. But we can do it. We're big girls. All you're going to do for these is, I'll do it right now. I'll do one. Okay, so you're just going to paint this a little bit darker. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this whole thing done today. I'm going to go over, but I don't know if I'm going to get the whole thing, but I'll get you enough down that you can finish it on your own. So we're just going to make it a little bit darker on the sides and not completely smooth. See how I kind of did it a little bit off? And this one is darker in a different color. It's into our blues. Any place you see super dark, just use some of the blue. Just a little bit there, maybe a little bit up here. And then burnt sienna on top. And then I'm going to drag that up a little bit. I'm letting this sit, so that's why I'm not neglecting that. I'm just letting it sit for a minute. And move it up in here. Come back with some more of our orange. So that's how you're going to kind of finish those. And then you're going to come back and put some small little dots on those to make them look like they're textured. Little random little dots. And don't do them evenly. because then nature does not have things even. I've said this before. Architects do this, and it's not really symmetrical as a rule. Most things that we see in nature aren't symmetrical. So you're just going to do some little dots like this. Don't you love when the phone rings and it says potential spam? And you're like, well, let me get on that right now. I'll answer that. Is it spam? That's about all I get on my home phone now is spam. Do you guys have home phones? What do they do? Tom, you have a joke? What do they do when a chemist dies? They bury him. Oh my gosh. Isn't he funny? So funny. So you kind of get the idea of what you're going to do on the legs there. I mean, that's what I would do. I would just do it like that. I just follow it, see what they've done, and try to do what the legs are, try to do the best I can to follow the value and the color in this case. Value is way more important than color, and more important than your drawing. Well, I don't know. I guess that can be argued. I mean, but you could have a beautiful drawing and then put value in there that it just doesn't make sense, and you're like, what? So, I mean, I guess there could be an argument there. But for me, I think the value is the most important. Okay, so here, this looks like the burnt sienna. Let's mix burnt sienna and this cad red. Let's do that. That looks pretty good. We'll come right on in and kind of dot it here and there, okay? It's gonna move because it's wet. Okay, cad red. Don't mix it entirely. Leave some, so that you can pick some up that's like maybe here, a little bit of the red, a little bit of the burnt sienna. So we're going right up in here. And then we come back in with that's our next layer, and then we'll come back in with the blue and then maybe burnt sienna again, but we'll see. The blue might be enough at the end. Okay, we'll just follow that shape. Super dark there, so it's not as critical to leave little spaces in between. So this is still a little wet. It's damp. It's not super wet. And now I'm just kind of following where the blacks go. I'm going to go ahead and paint this whole tail this color. Leave some in between. So my nephew's wife is in labor right now. I think it's my mom's 46th. I don't know what you'd say, 46th offspring, because they're not all great. I think this is a great. So that's her grandson, so this will be a great. But she has some greats also. So that's happening right now. Don't cover up all the orange because you want that orange to show through, our translucent orange there, that beautiful color. Can you see how we're going to develop that? And then we just continue on with more color on top with the darker color. I hope you can see that. Because it follows the same shape, right? And you can see what's going to happen here as well. The same thing. I mixed cad red and burnt sienna. And I think that's going to be just right. We're going to be putting the darker over this. So just kind of a roadmap. I'm working on this particular one right now. Just little dots, dropping it in. And normally dots wouldn't be the best way to paint something, but we want some of that color that's there, we want it to have variety of color. So see, it's lighter on this one, so I'm gonna leave that out. It got darker there. So it's got, some shape and some interest. And it's dark on this one, so I'm gonna put some darker here, because I definitely am gonna cover it. Now I'm just kind of observing. So yeah, there was a group of us who took a class with Mita Danny, and I didn't expect to learn how to teach online, and I really didn't know what I expected, and I certainly never planned to, but she was able to teach us how to do it, and it came at just a perfect time when everything kind of went south in our world. So I'm looking right here. So I'm going to let you guys know who the other participants are as well. So, because you may not want to do the style that I teach. You may not want to hear me sing. I mean, good grief. And I can't blame you for that. But I'm going to be doing it because I think it loosens me up and it makes you guys giggle. It makes you cover your ears. I mean, I can't help it. It makes me laugh when I change the words to songs that I don't know, it just makes me laugh. This is a big dark spot right there. So anyway, my point is, I can definitely refer you to a lot of other instructors. And I'd be happy to do that because we're all out to help you. And a lot of artists are having a difficult time earning their money because they used to go, in person to places. They would go do some workshops because artists who love art will teach it. That's my opinion. They'll share it and they'll teach it. They'll give everything they have because they love it and they want other people to love it too. I mean, you're going to find your own path and what you like. So I'm going back into Quinn Gold. I already know what I like. I like things that aren't entirely realistic. I'm going now into this section here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead. Look how bright that is because it hasn't dried. It's much, much brighter. We'll have to evaluate this after it all dries at the same. Because if this is super bright, I want this to be brighter. So I'll have to add more, and we'll just have to layer it a little more. We'll see how that works, okay? After we add the dark to this, it'll probably be okay. I'm in Quinn Gold, and we're just laying this in, looking at that little section there that's wider, and I'm going to try to have to get this back. This one I'm okay with, but I'm going to try to get that back. But if I don't, it's not going to matter. It's just a crawdad, and it's not. And speaking of just a crawdad, what should we name this? I was talking to Rhonda about it, and she thought we were talking about, what were we saying? Crawdaddy or Big Daddy or something like that. So we're going to have to name him. I don't know if you guys heard the story, what she said. She found him on the side of the road, and he was already dead, so they didn't eat him. I guess they crawl out, out of the rivers or wherever they live. Okay, so right now, I have my little brush that will soften edges. So I want to soften these edges here. See how it's super soft? You can't see the division right here. See, there's no division there. And right here, you see mine? That's dividing it. And it'll draw your eye. Anytime you have a contrast like that or a hard edge, your eye will go to it. So if you're looking at your painting and going, something's off, pay attention to where your eye goes. And then if it's got a hard edge and you don't want that, you don't want your eye to go where it's going, then get rid of it. Okay, so I'm not going to get back to this same light, but I'm going to try to get something there. Okay, here I go. Wait. Nope, I'm not because it's still wet, so I'll have to do that later. All right, so this is dark. This is dry enough that I'm going to put some of this, see this dark triangular shape right here? It needs it. It also needs to be darker here. You can see that value right there. See how light that is? So I'm going to work on both of those areas, starting with the dark blue because you'll be able to see it right away. And it's probably, if I get too close to here, it's going to suck it in, but as I'm looking, it's not that critical. So I won't worry too much about it. I need to get some of the water out. I see a little teeny tiny line right there. You see that little teeny tiny line? So I'm just going to try to get that with the tip of my brush. Okay, and I'm going to take burnt sienna. Burnt sienna looks like it's coming out here, the burnt sienna color. And it could even be just this color I mixed with the cad red and burnt sienna. So let's do it. Right in here, little tiny dry marks. But it's a warmer color than what's there, and it's lighter. Whoops. Just sort of squishing it around. Now I'm just mostly in water. I took the paint out of my brush. And I'll go back in with the burnt sienna and make a little few dots. Okay, dot, dot. Trying to get some of that value. It's gold underneath, so there's this line here, and then it's gold underneath. So I'm going to get some of that quin gold again, quinacridone gold. And I'm going to go right there. And with it, I'm going to go down into the leg. Okay, so here I can just paint right into it. Whoops. See the color change here? So even though it's the same leg, there must be a cast shadow here. And then see how it's almost white? So let's pay attention to that. Whoops. See, I'm getting kind of tricky here now. All right, I'm just going to cover it and we'll hope for the best. Going into the leg. Okay, so what color do you guys see here? Do you see that quinacridone gold and orange? Not much color there, so let's skip that. Quin gold, a little bit of the orange with it. I've already kind of got it mixed. So let's just do it. I see a line here, and then it's got some white on top, so let's go ahead and, hold on, I'm going to drink. I've been talking for almost an hour, so I need a drink. And it's, if you look at the leg, it's whiter on one side, so the shadow is cast on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and go down there. And right there too. Moving over to this leg. Okay, you guys, it's already an hour. Do you guys want me to keep going? Are you with me? Do you want me to take a break? Do you want me to take a break and come back? I was hoping I could finish, but I never know. So comment in there if you guys want me to keep going or if you want me to come back and do another last session. I'll do one more session, probably no matter what, because that's how I am. Seems like I always have to do 3 sessions of everything, at least. I don't know why. I guess I just don't paint that fast, but I know I talk the whole time, but I'm painting the whole time. So I want this to be softer than what that line is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some, I kind of want to show you guys what I might do for the shadow. I could just continue painting. You guys can leave if you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to paint it anyway. I don't know if Facebook lets you paint for the whole time. I mean, I don't know if Facebook will shut you down. I don't know how long they let you go for a live video.
Maybe you should just do one more session.
Do you think I should?
I don't know, we got quite a bit left.
I do have quite a bit left. Okay, so I'm looking at the same thing. This one is white. It has a little, the same kind of things happening. I see some greenish blue here. So you know what I'll do? I'm going to get that's cobalt teal. I'm just going to put it right here right now. And then I see on top of it, oh, sorry, you guys. I see on top of it, it has the gold as an edge. So I'm going to do that right now. These are so pretty together. They're delicious. Quin gold and cobalt teals. Try them sometime if you want. They look really pretty together. Right here. See how black it is right here? This is just completely the black. This is more of the burnt sienna, burnt sienna, burnt sienna. But this right on top is completely black. So I'm gonna let that sit. Oh, okay, I need to get there. While this is still wet, I want to come back over here. This is a big black line right here. Hey, what happened? I thought I got rid of that line. It came back. That hard edge. Here we go. You bad thing. Another new Kleenex. Look, it was so good and I got rid of it and it said, nope, I want to come back. It was still too wet. You guys probably saw that happening. Maybe we're laughing like, ha. I paint pretty loose most of the time, but I am really into making sure the details are right and fine. But I mostly love to do the colors, so I'm just going in here because I don't want these to be like little round dots. They look a little too round and dotty. So where'd my brush go? Back into this burnt sienna mixture. I kind of want to go around these a little bit. If you look at them, they have a lot of those little areas. And I hope I paint slow enough that you guys can kind of follow along. It's fun to follow along. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to look up there right now. I haven't been looking up. And Tom ditched me. My granddaughter came, and he ditched me. Okay. Tom keeps saying, I would love to have you come back and do another session, learning so much. Okay, Lori, I'll do that. I am back, and I didn't miss much. What's that mean? Where are we? Okay, I wanted to come up in here. I already talked to you guys about coming up in here. So we laid down a little green right here, and then I want to come up with some of this darker color that's there. Whoa, that's bright. My sun is coming through. Hold on, let me get rid of that. Whoopsie. I'm in a room with huge windows. We're gonna have to get some curtains for this little project. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I will come back. I'm going to do a few things on my own so that I can get further into it. But I'll come back and I will finish up the session. And I won't do everything. I'll leave some things to do so that you guys can do it on your own. But I'm starting to lose my light. I'm starting to get some light issues that are going to make it hard for you guys to see. And I have it turned. I'm sorry. Can you see how this makes it look really cool, like it's going to roll?
Someone said, I'd love to have you come back to do another session, learning so much.
I'm going into blue right now, blue and burnt sienna. Yeah, I read that. And then I'm gonna go into the leg right here and just sort of round that out with you guys. I've got burnt sienna and burnt sienna and blue on this. It's still wet, so it's gonna move on its own. And it'll look really cool. Look how it looks. Another dark dot here. And one under there. Do you like that? I think that looks awesome. And then same thing here. And under here. And then I want to come back up in here. I'll do this and then we'll call it good for the day. So look at the top of my post for the names of the artists that I've mentioned. Check them out. See if they're offering anything that interests you. And again, this is a great opportunity for you guys to get some excellent instruction at a not very high price. Like, I've done workshops that it was just the workshop was $750. And by the time I was done, I was up to a couple thousand. Because I had to, stay and eat and then get there and stay in the motel. And I made Tom come with me because I didn't want to drive. I flew to Arizona. I was booked to go over to England to do one too, but I didn't actually.
We flew to Arizona?
Yeah, we flew to Arizona.
I thought we drove.
I just wanted to learn so bad. So it all depends on how badly you want to learn. Tons of books. I bought a lot of videos. I'm just encouraging you guys to really consider where you want to go with your art. Burnt sienna. I'm going to follow this up. Oh my gosh. See, I don't look at it the whole time. This is looking pretty darn cool. That's all I can say. I love it. You can see what's going to happen here. I'm not working on it, but you can see where we're going to go. And you can see that too.
Are you going to do some more on your own with it?
They're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I just won't talk as much when I paint on my own. I'm just sort of quiet, and because obviously it feels weird to talk when no one's there. But I can still show you. It's hard to download, but I can try.
Or are you just going to finish it on another session?
Is that what you think I should do?
I don't know. What were you going to do?
I don't know. Right now I'm going to move this up here. This paint that's wet up in here. See these little stripy things right here? I'm just trying to keep them. Oh, you know what I want to do before I take off? I'm going to try to lighten that up with you guys and show you see if I can get it lighter, since I made a mistake. So I got that looking green there. And does it match that pretty good? Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do some yellow. I want that to be a little yellower. So this yellow I'm using is Hansa yellow. It's a cooler yellow, and meaning that it's closer. If you have a yellow and someone says it's cool yellow, it's warm yellow, and you're like, what the heck? So on your color wheel, you've got red, blue, and yellow. And in the yellows, I'm going to turn it on so you can see me here. In your yellows, you've got yellow, red, and blue. Now in your yellows, there's going to be some that lean closer to the blue side and some that lean closer to the red side. So when they lean closer to the red side, they're considered warmer. So just think of it like that. Super easy. And like if you're going to compare a yellow to blue, well, obviously the yellow is always warmer than the blue because it's considered a cool color. So I don't know if that helps you. So anyway, the Hansa yellow is a cooler yellow than the Indian yellow that I was using. Or no, I was using Quinn, and that was also this case. So I'm just kind of trying to smooth out the edges. Okay, last thing I said I was going to do before I go is try to lift up that white. I'm softening the edge here right now. I mean, I don't even know if I can finish this in the next session because there's a lot of detail to do. But I mean, I could do some of the parts that I don't know that would interest you. Okay, or that you guys could do on your own. So let's see this part right here. I want to try to get it to this part. See how that is? And the reason why is because it looks like that here. I mean, it's probably not critical, but I want to do that. And as we're also looking, see how this dulled down? Remember I said, whoa, that's super bright? See how it's getting closer to that? So we're probably going to be okay. So start with the scrubby. Start with the least aggressive way to lift. The least aggressive is a brush. Then the next one would be maybe a cotton Q-tip that I've used that I showed people. And then the magic marker. That's probably your aggression, because the more aggressive you are on the paper, the more you disturb the fibers. And if you have to paint over it, or even if you don't, it just can rough it up too much. And another thing that happens when you paint is, in order to keep your paint as fresh as possible, don't scrub on it, don't mix it, let it sit on the paper as much as you can. Because when you disturb the fiber or the paint as it's drying, it ends up pushing it into the fibers of your paper, and it changes it. It like forces it down there. Where if you just let it settle on its own, it's a little more gentle on it. It doesn't disturb the fibers. See, I'm getting closer, but I'll never get to that white. I'm going to lift this up, or actually I'm going to push the camera down and I'll show you. I'll never get to that white. In order to do that, I'd have to just tear the paper to shreds. And then I have a piece of damaged paper. So I'm going to push this down a little bit further too. All right, let me show you that. And this will be the last of our little class. Our little class. See how I was able to lift it? So if you have a mistake, you can usually fix almost every mistake. Right here, it looks a little bit hard-edged, but look at it from a distance. And you want your paintings to look good from a distance. This leg looks pretty awesome. Oh, okay, I lied. I fibbed. This edge here is getting hard. Here we go. We want that to round down. Round down. So I'm going to share with you guys some elephants that we painted in the course that I have going on right now. And they're so cool. My class is awesome. I want to make this darker still. It's not as dark as I want. I see some areas that need little bits of darkness. But this thing is looking like a hot crawdad. So maybe we should call it a hottie crawdie. No. A hottie daddy. I don't know. You guys can help me name it. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'll sing you a song, and I hope you guys had fun following along with this. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you guys investigate some of those other artists that I told you about. And here's a big hug from me to you. Twinkle, twinkle, you're a star. Keep your brush near, not far. Splash your paint, you're doing great. Although we didn't splash today, but I'm gonna maybe work on that later. I want this little tail to kind of drift into the like a watery thing. Enjoy your crawdad, do not wait. Twinkle, twinkle, you're a star. Keep your brush near, not far. Thank you, Donna. Bye, you all. Hey, if you have a question, I'll wait for a couple seconds here because there's a delay on this. So if you put something on here, it takes like about 20 seconds for me to see it. So I'll hang out just for a few more seconds, and then also feel free to message me. I'll answer you. I'll do the best I can. I don't know everything, but I'll do my best. I've got a lot of people to ask if I don't know the answers, okay? Look at this. This came from a student. It's a pin. Isn't it cute? So I've got it pinned to my microphone. I think it's perfect. All right, looks like you guys are good to go. I will post the next video because I thought I could get further, but I'm in love with this crawdad. So take care, you guys. I will see you next time. Probably be next week sometime because I'm going to take a day off tomorrow from recording. I have to record on Monday. I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday typically, and I've done it pretty much every day this week. And it takes its toll on my little brain. Bye, you guys. Bye, Ginger. You guys are the best, too. Take care. Have a good Memorial weekend, doing whatever you're doing. Bye.